Meeting of order at 7:06. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Alperona.
Here.
Councilmember Burnworth.
Here.
Councilmember Tucker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Here.
And Mayor Obeso Martinez.
Here. All right. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oh, Dr. Lang to lead us today.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's like getting caught. You're reading the next paragraph. All right. Any adjustments to the agenda?
Madam Mayor, we would ask that you move items D4 and D5 to consent.
D4 and D5 to consent. All right. Oh, let me get my life together here. Good.
Yep. Today, the city council met in closed session and discussed two items of current litigation: City of Imperial versus Imperial Valley Computer Manufacturing, Imperial Valley Manufacturing versus the City of Imperial. And council gave an update, no reportable action in those matters. Council also discussed one potential case of significant exposure to litigation. Explanation was given by council and direction was received, no reportable action. Council discussed the public employee performance evaluation regarding the city manager, and discussion was had and no reportable action. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Public comment. If you wish to address the city council concerning any item within the city council's jurisdiction, please raise your hand and be acknowledged by the mayor at that time. State your name and address for the record. The mayor reserves the right to place a time limit of 3 minutes for each person's presentation. And we'll start with Isaiah Gonzalez.
Hi, Isaiah Gonzalez, 315 Butterfield Trail, back again. Wanted to discuss some other items. Where am I going to start with? Back on March 4th, 2025, there was an email sent out to me regarding my car had broken down as I drove into the city shop. And I have the date on here. I have the screenshots and everything provided to Dennis a while back, but January 23rd, 2025. So March 4th, there's an email sent out to everybody, CC like, I don't know, 10, 11 people, maybe 9, but either way, CC Kristen Smith, David Dale from Janelle saying, good morning staff, yada yada. I'll submit it for public record, but basically, it's come to our attention that a non-operational vehicle described as a gray two-door Honda is being currently used, stored at city property. This is not permitted as it can interfere with city operations and is unauthorized use of city space. Perfect. So, yeah, got the car moved, but in here you have, I included some pictures from a February 6th training. So the email was from March 4th, February 6th, I submitted an email. Or there was a February 6th training where your shop part where all the mechanics work, they literally had workout equipment mounted to city property. Workout dumbbells, pull-up chin, pull-up bar, all that stuff on top of the mess is all in here. Got pictures, everything when we did OSHA training that Kirsten had put on. So the intent of the email was just to embarrass me. Everybody knew who the car was. It wasn't secret, but thank you for putting in an email. So I'm going to submit this to Tommy for public record, but since we're doing this, everything's here. I want to report a current vehicle violation of the vehicle policy. There's currently a 2006 Honda Accord being used as a personal vehicle after hours. So the vehicle log or the vehicle policy is like 9 pages. So there's currently an employee violating that policy for personal use. So if you guys can look into that, and I will provide documentation as needed, but it needs to probably start with Janelle because that's one of her little puppets. So what else do I have? Back on my March 13th memo, Oh, I only got 35 seconds. Well, yeah, I mean, thank you for the 2.5 minutes, Ida, and I'll be back. And Katie, on the, do I have to submit another email to get 10 minutes or like I
We-
did the last time?
Well, yeah, reach
Okay,
out
okay,
because,
I'll do the same thing. That's fine. Thank
yeah,
you.
and I just want to also remind the public and the staff members that are here, that I have very clearly directed that when personnel items are being discussed, that it is not appropriate for our council to directly address
Okay,
those in
that's fine.
open
I
session.
don't need anybody to
I'm
address
just
me.
making sure everyone else
And I
is.
have also since there was an item with me and an employee slash relative that was personal phone to personal phone. I also want to submit Tommy some personal phone to personal phone, but actual work related text messages where he's making fun of the city electrician via text,
Okay.
and he's describing how he's going to deny a job promotion for somebody if he was put into the position that he currently has. So
Just in terms of, as employees here at the city, you all have the ability and, we encourage you to submit these things.
okay.
We just can't respond in open
No, I
session
don't need
when
a
it
response. I just
involves.
want to let them know.
Yeah, and
don't
I
need a
want to
response.
make sure everybody
No, I
knows when they
understand
have
that.
an issue, or the public. For instance, if there's a violation of anything, we certainly would encourage you to contact, the
I can
city.
send an email too.
That'd be great.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Tommy.
Mr. Peter Rodriguez?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Peter Rodriguez. I reside at 142 Driftwood Drive in the city of El Centro. As you're aware, yesterday at the board meeting, the County Board of Supervisors surprisingly said it put a pause on data centers, 5-0. But it started with you, the council. You, the council, took a very brave step and called leadership, holding the line, still holding the line. And that says a lot about your integrity as a council of all 5 of you. You see, I was at a council meeting yesterday where they're obviously going to want another sales tax despite having 38 million in the reserves. I didn't make any comment because it first needs to qualify for the ballot measure, and we'll see how it goes. But when it comes to leadership, you and Brawley really, and Calexo's coming around to, it really shows. And you'll take this stance. It just touches my heart. All the speakers that have spoken, children, grandparents, and people that live here in the city. I'm so proud for each and every one of them, and for one who spoke up in my behalf because Tim Kelly called me a village idiot at a board meeting. That really touched me. And I'd like to thank you for your leadership and your integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Michael Langford?
Hello, my name is Michael Langford, 399 East Aurora Drive, El Centro, a former employee of the city for 8 years. Just wanted to state a few items. I was fired for no reason other than someone's hatred towards me, which would be Kristen's. I made a handwritten mistake on my time card, which is what people do every single period. She does not like the fact that I have been questioning her and Dennis, like that whole year, on the unfair hiring practices.
Can you talk into the mic?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
about that.
On the unfair hiring practices or promoting practices, how they would people would get promised jobs, and then of course they would get them, even raises until they got them. So I was with them discussing the drug abuse of certain candidates, of everything, to no avail. I was kept getting told that I was assured everything would be fine. They would all be good. But anyway, so I was questioning them very hard because it was very upsetting. And then, so yes, about a week before I got my paperwork, my leave of absence paperwork. I was at a department head's office and they said, Mike, I'm so sorry. Why? Because Kristen hates you. What'd you do to Kristen? I said, oh, she's mad because I've been questioning her ethics and the stuff that happens. It's absolutely, it's wrong. It's completely biased. And I'm not making this up. I'm not a disgruntled It's been like 6 months, so I'm not disgruntled anymore. I was very upset, but yeah. And then every time I would go to her dentist, they would have different reasons for the one position would go to internal only, one would go to internal and to the public. Even some went to a third interview, and I finally applied for one of the jobs. One of the interviewers happened to be a friend of mine, 30 years, known him forever. I didn't say a word. He didn't say a word. We already knew who was going to get the position on this one too, because it's the same person that's been in Janelle's office all the time, feet up on the desk, whatever. So then I didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. Finally, I'd have the advantage that they're giving everybody else. Well, come to find out, they're telling me the person that got the job, the other favorite, he's telling me before I knew, oh, well, hey, you didn't make it. I made the cut, and it's me and so we're going to have a third interview. Why do you know this information? Why does he know that in the first place? Just like the class and comp study we did. Why do the same people, the same favorites, know all this information before we do? It's supposed to be management only. They were telling us who was getting. By the way, on that whole class and comp study, only one person got a financial nice raise. I think that was Kristen. Odd, could be, but yeah, and a promotion. A lot of people got name job changes. I don't even see the time. Okay, but she's the only one that got the big. Anyway, so yes, she lied on my termination report at several occasions. I'm sure it's not gonna be worth looking into. I'm just one person, but it's unfair and it's wrong, and it shouldn't. I don't think it should. That's where you're supposed to go when you're an employee. HR. Your manager doesn't do what you need to do or something. So you go to your HR. HR is supposed to be there, not hold a grudge. HR is supposed to work you through it. I thought that's my perception of that. So many other things that are so different about that. So differences in personnel. She can say that she can let a person non-licensed drive a heavy equipment vehicle, breaking OSHA regulations, breaking the law, breaking company city policies.
Sir, your time is up. There was 44,
Sorry,
no cussing in.
I said, shoot, sorry, sorry about that. Sorry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Proclamation presentation with Belia Garnel. Here. Belia here? No? We can note that we have a proclamation here. For Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that affects more than 6 million Americans, including thousands of families across our region, impacting memory, thinking, behavior, ability to perform daily activities. If we don't have a representative here, we will note that, and Miss Olivia will make sure, and Tina will make sure that they get the proclamation. Thank you. Moving on to B, consent agenda. All items appearing under the consent agenda will be acted upon by the city council with one motion without discussion. Should any council member or any person request that that item be considered separately, that item will then be taken up at that time as determined by the mayor.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by our
And a
Mayor Pro
second.
Tem and a second by James. And that also includes D4 and D5. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0 with one abstain from Councilmember Bartlett.
Thank you. Moving on to C1, authorization to implement the city's energy infrastructure modernization program and meet the federal incentive deadline. And we do have a presentation by Climatech.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor Albedo Martinez, members of council, City Manager Marita, members of staff, and the Imperial community. Thank you for having us here tonight. We are going to share an update of the program development that has taken place since our study session that occurred in early May, and then walk you through some of the items that are here tonight in advance of the public hearing. The program objectives remain the same. This is really about modernizing any failing or aging infrastructure that the city has that is using more energy than more modern technology, and reducing operating expenditures, helping to mitigate the rising utility costs coming from IID that's impacting your operating budgets. Capturing federal incentives before they expire. There's an upcoming deadline in early July. And then through this program, implementing renewable energy technologies that will help you to operate more efficiently. Since we were here in May, we have been working with staff to finalize the scope of work. After your authorization in May to proceed with finalizing the program development, we worked with Janelle and her team to finalize the details of the scope of work and had our engineering staff on site to complete the program development. And we've been working with the finance team to finalize some structures on potential funding options that will be pursued if this is the next steps that you want to take for implementation. This is all in preparation to meet the July 4th federal incentive deadline and then have your consideration tonight. The infrastructure needs of the program are focused on aging infrastructure in the areas of HVAC, any HVAC that has aged out. The city, I will say, has done a really good job of staying on top of aging infrastructure as it relates to HVAC and lighting through programs that have been available locally through the utility. So this is really just about completing that work in any of the units that are still needing to get modernized. For building automation, what that means is any of the control systems for your HVAC and lighting, standardizing on one system throughout the city, and then converting to renewable solar energy at sites where it makes the most sense and where you have enough usage that makes it cost beneficial. Electric vehicle charging in a couple areas, and then sports field lighting in a couple areas as well. This is some examples of the aging HVAC infrastructure that would be replaced through the program. There's in total 9 units throughout the city that are in need of replacement. It's beyond just replacing the unit itself. In some areas, there's some electrical upgrades and roofing upgrades as well that are needing to take place associated with this. So this would take care of that. Standardizing on LED lighting throughout the city is important timing because fluorescent lighting fixtures were banned by Title 24 standards, so it just makes it really cost prohibitive for you to get light bulb replacements for any of these older generation lighting fixtures. So this would be standardizing on LED. Here's an example of just some of the various control systems that you have throughout the city. This would be standardizing on one platform, which would allow Cody and Janelle's team to just be able to operate HVAC more efficiently, make sure things are off and rooms are unoccupied. This summarizes the scope of work that we just reviewed. There's really no changes from when we were here in May, other than we took out some of the scope that was slated for the City Hall building. Specifically, we were looking at doing window and door replacements for the City Hall building, and while those would be important measures for infrastructure, they're more in the category of a nice to have rather than a have to have on like some of these failing measures or the ones that are eligible for a grant. So those were taken out and are being considered as a potential future phase depending on funding availability. The total program before was 11 million, and now with windows and doors out, we're looking at a $10.3 million program. This is eligible for $3.4 million in incentives. So it's roughly a $6.9 million net investment for the city once the incentives are received. The life cycle savings over the life of the equipment is 15.7 million in operating budget savings, and also from the grant. This number will go higher depending on how much capital savings are able to be generated from the potential municipal lease purchase that would be being pursued for a portion of the program that would help free up capital. So after your consideration tonight, if the council approves moving forward, the first step would be to meet the federal incentive deadline for the solar portion. There's a panel purchase that needs to take place, and then work with the finance team to procure municipal lease financing proposals for funding any portions of the program that the city contributions can afford, specifically for the general fund scope. Ryan, our grants administrator, is going to give a little overview of the grant.
Good evening, Mayor Abessa Martinez, council, staff, and members of the community. My name is Ryan Kroll, and I just want to give a brief overview of the Inflation Reduction Act incentives. This was passed, this was passed by the Biden administration back in 2022. A significant investment in green energy technology, looking at solar, EV, and battery. And there were, in the Inflation Reduction Act, it was basically, once your solar is online and operational and running, you're able to apply through the IRS. You'd get a direct check back, and it would be for a base of 30%. And there's also additional 10% kickers in terms of one that the city of Imperial qualifies for is the low income bonus. So this was passed in 2022. It was originally going to go all the way till 2032 until the new administration signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act in July 4th of 2025. And this answered two questions. One, when are the incentives expiring? And then two, what signifies the start of construction? And the safe harbor window is basically having 5% under construction. That could be the purchase of panels before that July 4th to show that you're having continuous construction towards that. And if you hit that, you would have 4 years to finish construction. If you were to miss that, you would have to have the solar online and operational by the end of calendar year 2027. And these rules are not changing. There's no pending law changes or anything. These are the final changes.
Thank you, Ryan. Some additional benefits include hedging against construction cost inflation. This is a turnkey program that would help you to get projects done quicker and with just less impact, no risk of change orders, and addressing deferred maintenance today at today's construction prices. This all overall will help to implement or to expedite implementation and align with your city services objectives and goals while also meeting state mandates. Once programs are starting to get implemented, one of the elements that we can help the city is sharing your story, engaging the community through press releases, a dedicated page on your website, or any other type of community engagement pieces to let your community know when you're awarded the grant, when projects are going online, how much you're saving is a big component that a lot of your peers, particularly in the Valley, like to be able to share with their community. So that's something that we can help you to voice. The next steps after your consideration tonight would be to procure the financing proposals and come back for your consideration likely around the August timeline, and signify the mobilization of construction would be taking place in July, but that would just be for the solar portion. We wouldn't mobilize on the other portions of the construction until the financing was authorized. The construction is anticipated for 24 months, and then the savings measuring and the grant obtainment would continue ongoing. We'll open it up for any questions.
Any questions? Tommy, did you have, I apologize, as a presenter, I skipped over it and we went straight into the presentation, but is there anything else that you guys were working on that we should know about?
Just to point out too, if the city were to go forward, that deadline is extremely important because as you know, a project this size to complete in 1 year would be highly unlikely, and we would need that for a year to capture that $3 million worth of incentive. And without that, that would significantly reduce the benefits of even going forward with this project. So just want to point that out, as part of your consideration.
Have we worked with our finance department on
Yeah,
this?
that was, took the words out of my mouth.
Did you collect cans and find some money for it? Just kidding.
No, it's, we have met with Climate Tech as well and
Okay.
discussed with city manager. We would need to, either procure financing, deplete reserves or move some projects around for water, because this is a general fund water and wastewater project. So we either move some projects around or, like Ashley mentioned, look for the financing needed and what kind of impact would that bring to the city as well. So we have briefly discussed it. We have not reached out to any banks, or there's various options like doing self-finance, which would save all the interest, but it would not on whatever project it's on the doorstep right now, or do a financing part of a partial finance, or especially for the general fund side. So, but we haven't looked at the details. Can we move forward with the initial procurement of the 5%? Yes. The other part is the one that we have not gone into detail or looked up for outsourcing to, or reach out to banks.
So I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:31. Any comments from the public regarding this? No? Then we will close it at 7:31 and some change here. Okay.
And Mayor, if I could also add too, as you'll recall from previous presentations, our contract with Climate Tech does provide a guarantee that the cost savings is going to cover the cost of the program. Right, so it would be cost neutral. Of course, as Victor said, there'd be a lot of work to figure out the funding structure of it, but their guarantee does provide, and they would provide yearly reports and monitoring from a base starting point of what our utility costs are now. And then if we didn't meet those numbers, Climate Tech would reimburse the rest of that.
Where sites besides the HVAC that you guys looked at, especially for solar, where were you guys considering that?
Solar, the biggest system is at the wastewater treatment plant, as you can imagine, and also the water treatment plant, and then City Hall and the library.
I mean, but just looking at this year's, we're at 730,000, and we got to come up by July 1.
Yeah.
I mean, enterprise funds and water funds. I mean, that obviously, like you said, defer, but it's only 65,000 out of general fund for our stuff. Still a big number to look at for this quarter.
Yeah, that number would come out of this current fiscal year. So it's nothing in the budget which I presented or anything like that. So it's basically figuring out paying, and if we're short from this money because we're still closing, we still have it would come out of the reserves.
And then we're still looking at 5.1 for 26, 27, 28, and 29. So that would be
For general fund?
general fund would be 3. And water
Correct.
would be 2.1. I mean, that would definitely deplete everything that we have.
And wastewater 5. Yes, correct. That's the breakdown. It's 30, 20, 50%.
But the guarantee is there if it doesn't go through, right?
Yeah, what the guarantee is providing is that the savings will pay for the cost of the improvements over the useful life. So there does have to be a funding source during the course of construction, which is, it spreads over 4 fiscal years, basically, to pay for the projects up front and then paying back the city through the savings. what the savings is estimating is that your utility rates are going to go up 5%. But what we do know is that IID has rate increases that are planned much higher than that. So we anticipate that the savings will be even greater than what's anticipated. That's just a baseline of a minimum amount of savings that is anticipated. And the other projects related to HVAC and lighting and the control system, these are items that you're going to have to do anyway, and on a piecemeal basis would be much more expensive and cost more time and resources than doing it today at today's construction prices. And then a little bit about the financing. So the way that the financing would work is once even though you haven't got proposals back, we did get a preliminary pricing of rates that were in the 4.3 to 4.5 range of banks that are interested. So there just needs to be a formal authorization for staff to pursue financing. If the financing is authorized, then the city would be able to pay for those improvements that you talked about for next year from an escrow account from the financing. And then you don't have to pay back the financing until the savings are starting to materialize. So you would have a couple of years on that before the payments would be due. It's just a matter of working with Victor and Janelle after this next budget is approved and figuring out what's comfortable to fund from your capital budgets, or would you want to be seeking financing for the whole amount? In either case, it still provides a net positive savings even if you finance the full amount.
Any other discussion? I know we have a comment.
I was involved a little bit in this when this started, but just so you know, at the water plant, you have limited space if it's just going to be like solar panels as you're driving to San Diego. So there's plenty of room at the waste for expansion, but for solar at the water plant, you guys are limited on any future. I think David wanted to add a tank at one time and potential other ponds. So at the water plant, you don't have the space, just so you guys know.
Thank you. Was the water plant picked because of space, or was there another reason for that?
So the
Consumption?
space that is
Consumption.
can I comment on?
Yeah.
Okay, so the space that is, it's a very top perimeter of the space of the property. It's a very thin whole strip of solar and then a little bit of parking. But we've worked very closely with Cody and his team to determine the best place to put it and putting it in space where there's no future development plan. But it's a much smaller system compared to wastewater. It's really the sizing of it is based on your load, your utility load, and what space was developed with your staff.
Thank you.
And it's also in the agreement. You can see a
Mayor,
layout.
to answer your question, the other part of your question, those were selected because the energy from those solar panels would augment
Replenish
the
that.
power at that shop. Yeah.
I mean, $1 spent today is a lot cheaper than $1 spent tomorrow or at the end of these lives. So
And we saw that several years ago. Should've
We have to buy stuff and then we have
Yeah,
to buy it 'cause
exactly.
it's expensive later on.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-42 for approval.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second by Katie and James. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Apologize in advance, Victor.
I'm gonna do a bake sale for you.
Yeah.
For us. Joking. You don't want anything to bake. Moving on to C2. Postpone public hearing on levies for lighting and landscape districts to the next
Solar panels on the
regular
top.
city council meeting on July 1st. Nope, by Mr. Victor.
That actually will be postponed till July 1st. So we just noted here on the agenda because it was too late to pull it.
Yeah, and we're actually asking you to adopt the resolution so that we've got a paper trail for it. So this is simply, we want to make sure that we're giving the public plenty of notice and it'll be on your next.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a first and a second, please vote.
Sorry, Robert.
Who are we missing?
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Moving on to D1, approve resolutions for the 2026 general I can't talk today, municipal election by our city manager, Dennis Morita.
Madam Mayor and Council, the staff recommendation is that you address each of these resolutions individually. Adoption of the resolutions will basically tee up the election that's scheduled to happen in November for election of three council seats and city clerk. And so, and also there is a measure relating to our community facilities district that is currently scheduled to also appear on that ballot. And adoption of the resolution will move that forward.
Do you want the titles read in or just the number?
You can make reference to the resolution number. I believe each one has a number. So
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-35.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
We have a first. Do you want to do a roll call for these?
Are you doing, because I don't have it set
We're gonna do them all individual?
Can you
do them all Can we do them all together?
Didn't you say you wanted them done individually?
well, on the unlikely event that somebody wished to vote differently on an individual one, that's where I was coming from. If indeed the motion is made to adopt them all and you get a second and vote.
Well, then I'll revise my motion and I will make a motion to approve resolutions 2026-35, 2026-36, 2026-37, 2026-39, and 2026-40.
And I'll still stand with my second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please vote.
You gotta vote, pay attention.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to D1, acceptance of citywide speed survey completed by the Imperial Police Department by Arch.
So, if you've had the opportunity to pour through it, it's nice and exciting. It's hard to put it down. But there's a requirement in order to conduct radar enforcement on city streets. You have to conduct a speed survey. It has to be reviewed by an engineer and approved by council prior to implementation. The survey itself lasts for 2 years from the date of completion, which was in December. So if you've had any opportunity to review it, there are going to be subtle changes to the speed limits in some areas. However, generally the speed limits are going to be remaining the same, and we focus on our high traffic areas and major thoroughfares for the purposes of this survey.
Do you want to do some highlights for the
So
on which ones are changing?
So some of the interesting things that go into a survey, you have to measure the amount, you have to measure distance, width of the roadway, and the average speeds of 100 vehicles traversing the roadway in both directions. So for example, P Street between First Street and Nickel only has a handful of driveways that face the roadway. It only does so from the west side. Therefore, the prima facie speed limit is 25 right now, when arguably it should be increased to 40, and the speed data supports that increase in speed limit. So if approved, we would work with public services to make the proper notifications and post the proper speed limit to increase the speed limit on P Street to coincide with the average 85th percentile of the speeds. And that kind of goes the same for all of the roadways on page 8. It shows the present speed limits in miles per hour and what our recommended speeds are going to be, most of which remain static with the exception of those that are in bold are suggested increases. And if you're familiar with those general areas, it has to do with amount of traffic, 85th percentile speed, and then the lack of driveways and or residential areas in a given distance that would support an increase in speed.
Any questions?
So what happens if we don't adopt this?
What happens if we don't adopt it?
Can you not give speed tickets with radars anymore?
So you
Just kidding. I'm just curious.
You can. answer your question, you can, but there are certain limitations. You can run radar on a street that has a certain specified width, and you have to do so at a given distance. With this, it's supported by the survey that basically says the 85th percentile speed assist has been approved by council because there's data to back it up, and it supports it for testimony purposes in court. So if we didn't adopt it, the speed limits that are currently existing in each of these areas would remain the same, and then our ability to conduct radar enforcement would be diminished because you have streets like Ayton, Clark up to Rosarito that are really wide roadways where we would not be able to conduct speed enforcement.
So I'm looking
radar.
at Brewer Road. You increased it from 25 to 35.
Correct. So for Brewer, the speeds are in and about that area.
Mm-hmm.
The collision index still remains very low.
Mm-hmm.
And if you drive that area, there's only 2 driveways that actually face the roadway. And that
I agree with you, but a lot of time, because I drive that all
Mhm.
the time, there's a lot of children that walk and ride their bike between there, especially their e-bikes. So that's an interesting road right there, that little portion.
And so it would basically allow traffic to continue at its current existing speed. So people drive an average of the proposed speed limit change anyway.
Okay.
So we're not creating a circumstance where it's a free for all.
Mhm.
You're going to have those anomalies where they're going to be tremendously in excess of the speed limit anyway. But ideally, you have radar in the car with an officer to be able to conduct the necessary enforcement.
Does your officers have rolling radar?
We have one unit that's going to be having rolling radar hopefully within the next couple of months. But we have a rolling radar unit.
One of the pickups.
One more time?
One of the pickups.
We won't divulge which one it's in. So no, it would probably be in one of the
It's on the bike.
right? It's on the e-bikes.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be in one of the Explorers because of the rear window being clearly all the way to the back of the bumper, which is better for the antenna.
And do you,
Are you going to do Highway 86?
So 86 is a different story altogether. You cannot do a speed survey on a roadway that's under construction. It has to be considered free flowing without interruption. And so 86, although it was on our list, was not conducted for that reason because of its construction.
And how many more years of construction do we have there? I don't know where Don went.
yeah.
I think that's why he's there.
All right. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Have a
Second.
second from first and second. Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're up again. D3, expenditure plan and resolution accepting the 2024-2025 state citizens option for public safety, otherwise known as COPS allocation funding, by our chief again.
So again, this is a recurring grant that we've had for several years, and then the growth portion is in addition to. What we're doing is we've allocated funding for 2 Ford Police Detective units, additional supplies for our crime scene investigations vehicle, protective equipment, and a program and a drone that will enhance our existing capabilities with unmanned aerial systems, and then accounting for the upfitting. There's an additional placeholder that makes it look like there's a request for 4, but it's actually 2, but it's a placeholder for the purposes of drawdowns. And then once the funds are in hand, we have yet to identify what those expenditures would actually be for because of the anticipation of possibly moving into the CHP facility.
You will be moving. I hope. When are this? Do you know?
One more time?
Do you know when the CHPs are moving out?
So my last conversation with Captain Redas was last week, and they're looking at in the end of July. Fingers crossed that we would be able to do anything and everything that we would need to do with the inspection of the facility throughout the entirety of August.
Perfect.
Now when it's nice and hot for moving.
I said we, I mean they.
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-27 and 2026-28.
Miss Katie and Stacy, please vote.
I just need.
Who?
It's not popping up.
It's not popping up.
Oh, what? It always pops up on a different tab.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Council.
So we have D4 and D5, that was in consent. So moving on to D6, adoption of the fiscal year 2026-2027 municipal budget.
So basically, this is a high summary of the budget workshop we did a couple of weeks ago, a couple sessions ago. So for that point, this is the summary for 26-27. This is our overview, our budget overview. Excuse me. All departments are fully funded for 26-27. The city budget overall is 42.4 million for all funds. That's including a general fund budget, a surplus of 190K. Currently for staffing, we're adding 4 new full staff positions, 1 part-time, and we are unfunding 2 full-time and 1 part-time. So that's basically a net of 2 new positions with the new total of 160 FTEs, 160.25 FTEs. For this,
Victor, I'm
yes.
sorry, real quick, the 160, does that include our summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's total like part-time and all that, so it's FTEs.
Full-time equivalents, right?
Yes, correct.
So like 2 part-time employees is 1 full-time?
Correct. So that's we're increasing from 2, basically net 2 from last fiscal year because we're unfunding a couple of positions. Our budget, salary, and benefits remain the same as last year based off ongoing negotiations. So that number throughout the packet and all the backup, it's basically the same number we did last year. That's going to change obviously with the ongoing negotiations. So that's going to impact the 190 surplus that we have there as well. So depending on where we land, how fast do we get them, what do we get? So a lot of variables. We costed out a lot of different scenarios. So it goes, I think I have it later next in the conclusion, but it goes anywhere from 200 to 500,000 depending on the landing spot, right? And the timing. So I will come back and revise numbers for that. But for the actual budget and approval, we'll continue as status quo with the same numbers. We have no new vehicles to purchase in next year. I think the fire truck took all our budget. And we're in city budget in accordance with the GAN spending limit, which will be up next slide. Any questions over you?
We can get some bicycles because gas is so expensive.
Yeah, that's.
Well, we're getting EVs, so I don't know if Chief's gonna go eventually electric vehicles. So
I hope not.
They go fast. They have a lot of torque.
Some of them.
Not
So-
yours.
Yeah, mine's like. No.
There's your wine.
Yeah.
this is the actual. It's kind of small, but this is the actual breakdown by like the major funding, the major or groupings that we have. General fund is 18.9, water plant 6.7, wastewater 6.6. Our all the special revenue fund are 3.8. Our CFDs and LEDs are 2.9. Our Department of Technology is 1.8. And our successor agency is 1.7, making a total of 42.4 million overall budgeted amount. As I mentioned, the GAN spending limit for this year is last year was 24.3 million. This year, with the increase of a population of 0.5 according to the Department of Finance and 3.4 inflation, that number bumps up to 25,275,550. The appropriation subject to spending limit totals, which are all our taxes for the city, is $905,500 for budgeted for 2027. So we're not even halfway through our limit. So there's really no cause for any expectation that we're going to exceed that limit. And I'll be bringing that resolution for next council meeting, which is basically the same information. Our fund cash reserve and investments. This is the numbers that we have as of May 31st. Those numbers are going to change a lot. Once we close the year, we had a lot of CIP projects closing that have not been accounted for. It's still in the actual reserve, so we rather have them earning money than transfer those monies away, right? So currently pool cash for the whole city is 54.1 million. Our general reserve fund has 8.1 million in reserves. Our water and capacity funds 14.8 million, and our wastewater and capacity funds have 12.9 million. Currently, our interests are divided in 3-year ladders with U.S. governmental securities, CDs, which have, I forgot to write down how much we have in each, but I know them. So the government securities and CDs, we have 12.5 million spread out of every 6 months, 3 years out. So every 6 months we get money in returns, we reinvest. So that ladder keeps going and going. So we have a little bit. We started with 12, we have 12.6 now. Our LAIF account is at 17.6 million. Our Wells Fargo, it's 11.5 million. So all in all, we have close to $40 million earning interest. So this fiscal year, as of May 31st, we have 1.6 million return. So that's something. It went down a little bit from last year, but obviously we had a lot of projects, so we had to spend out a lot of money. We had more money saved last year, so as we spend, we're going to be earning a little bit less each year. But hopefully with the solar panels, we make it up. Sorry.
Bad joke.
Conclusion. Finances for a city look stable this year. There's a lot of projects in the air coming up, CIPs. Now with the solar, we're still going with the negotiations. So even though they look stable, there's a lot of changes coming around for next year. Capital projects, like I said, is going to be brought back probably by August. So we'll see the new amounts, how much it dwindled the reserves, and the new projects that we have, or that we are removing, or that we're hopefully grant funded, like some projects that we do have for the future. The projected impact on labor negotiations, like I mentioned, is anywhere from 400 to 500,000, depending on the implementation date. So that's gonna play also. Staff will continue to present quarterly budget updates and propose necessary adjustments to council for any budget performance or changes that we need to apply. So that's 30,000 level of the budget that we went over like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. Any questions in particular I may answer at this moment, or you may have?
No, just great job, Victor.
Thank you.
I think you've done a good job of cutting where, the department heads cutting where you need to, but making it all work.
I had help this year. I told the department heads be mindful, and they were. So it made my budgeting a lot easier this year, but we still need to figure out for the future, the years and all that, what's coming up with all the projects. We need additional revenue streams, and or changes or increases, or I don't want to mention it, but sales tax, but
you can put a grants administrator in that budget.
We all our projects are grant funded, but yeah.
She's got one.
We'll talk to Ryan then.
No, I appreciate the updates. It's always a good thing to hear what's going on, so we're not coming back 6 months later. Oh, hey, by the way. No, I appreciate the quarterly updates. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Who wants to make a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2026-41.
We have a first and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to reports. City manager, do you have anything you'd like to share with the class?
Just very quickly in connection with the budget, but by the time I was participating in meetings with each of the departments, and Victor, I have to say that the departments really stepped up and listened when Victor was sharing projections regarding our revenues. And so it was, I can say there was virtually certainly no acrimony, but I think by the time the discussions came around, with respect to each department, I saw a lot of cooperation. So I would say Victor and HR and the directors in each department should be complimented on how they approach this year's budget.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We have an athon that's missing, so Miss Janelle.
No reports this meeting. I'll have more for the next one.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Lopez?
So I have a few things to report. Summer camps have officially launched this week, so we're dealing with that chaos and parents signing their kids up for the wrong thing and
Oh, no.
all that stuff. So the second thing is I'm excited to announce that Parks is going to be doing their part in lowering our bills. We awarded on part of the nonprofit and the city side $70,000 to retrofit Joshua. And so we are initially denied on the nonprofit side, but they came back and said, psych, you're going to give you 35,000 additional. So we had ordered additional lighting fixtures on the city side. So we're going to use those fixtures to do 14th Street as much as we can. So we'll be replacing in the next few months a little under 90 fixtures on both of those sites. And that'll be all city staff. The funding that we got that's grant through the IID GLOW grant we'll use for materials, both electrical upgrades as well as the LED retrofits. So that's exciting.
Very cool.
When you mentioned 14th Street, you mean the park, the baseball park?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so both Joshua Park, including the soccer portion of it,
Really? That's
will
awesome.
be retrofitted LED, and then also with the fixtures we ordered to kind of supplement when we're told we weren't going to get the second portion. We're going to go and install as many as we can at 14th Street, and then look at our budget that's approved for July and see if we can just finish that park outright. So all of our parks will be LED.
That's great.
Or our athletic fields, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Estrada?
Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Chief?
Between last council meeting and this one was the high school graduation for the class of 2026.
Oh, that was
It
fun.
was probably attended maybe threefold this year as far as people in the crowd and in attendance, but extending a special congratulations to the class of 2026. Tony touched on grants, and grants have been kind of the hot topic for this meeting, and I'll continue on that. We, Captain Sheffield and myself, have submitted for at least 3 federal grants and 2 state grants. Fingers crossed we get at least 1 or 2 of them. But hopefully the theme is starting to catch on, that Imperial's in the market for expansion, betterment, wellness, and providing better services for our community. So hopefully it starts to yield the results we expect. Other than that, I have nothing.
Other Chief Lancer?
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the equipment ordering continues for the engine. So the first installations are communications equipment. And then we have other miscellaneous equipment that will be coming and being installed. The engine won't be placed in service until all equipment has been purchased and installed. So be patient. It might take a couple months depending on how quickly things arrive.
Thank you.
So we have also.
Mr. Manriquez?
No further comment from me too.
Okay. Ms. Smith?
We do have a few new hires. So we'll bring up the slideshow real quick. I do have two versions of the slideshow, so I'm not sure whose picture is going to come up first. So I'm going to wait for the.
Be a surprise. Police officer. He looks like he could be my kid's age, but I love
assure you he is 21 years of age.
Oh, no, that's good.
Are you sure?
Learner permit said so.
I have kids 21 and 26, so yep. All right, moving on to Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing further for tonight.
You don't? Okay. Nothing else? All right, Mr. Amparo.
Nothing. Just want to say thank you guys for everything you guys do for the city, all the hard work we do. Appreciate you.
Miss Katie.
I want to give a big happy birthday to Councilmember Tucker. 29 tonight.
One more time.
29.
And other than that, I have nothing to report.
Stacy.
Just thank you to Cal League of Cities. We had our division dinner last night and received a good report or some good information from IID. Update on the water rights fight that is currently going on. And I just wanted to, in case people weren't aware, we lost a great person this week before last. So many of you knew Betty Tucker, who sat on this council for quite some time. Sorry, did I say Betty Tucker? Betty Sampson, who sat on this council for some time, and we lost her this past week. And so my condolences go out to her family. Her family was part of my family since youth. So that's it.
Thank you. Mr. James.
I'd just like to thank everybody for the birthday wishes and let everybody know it's getting hot out there. So I just hope that all of our new vehicles that the city has are all washing the radiators and keeping the trucks and the employees cool. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Ms. Shields.
I have nothing.
Okay. I attended Cal Cities. You know, I did miss a part about acknowledging, and we have our county representative here, the good work that they did on the roads coming into the city of Imperial, Nance, I think it was Murphy. We are grateful. The striping looks amazing, and so that's just a wonderful addition with the work that was already being done in the city, to now see it on the county roads and for the kids being able to ride to school. So thank you for that. I appreciate that as well. That's all I have. All right, moving on to the next meeting that will be held on July 1st, 2026. Thank you. Call this meeting at 8:08.